Welcome to our session on Manage Hadoop Services. In this session, we will be looking at how we can control the Hadoop services, like how we can start, stop a service, how we can start, stop, let's say a yarn and HDFS. Then we will also look at configuration management in terms of how you can update the configuration across the cluster. And in the end, we will summarize. So let's first of all look at StartStop Services. And we are looking into Apache Hadoop distribution. So let's say we have to restart HDFS services. So what we can do is we can control individual service by using the command hadoop-daemon.sh start stop that particular service. So we are saying HDFS. So it starts with Hadoop. So let's go to the system and have a look at this particular command. So for example, I want to look into a command using which I can start, stop, let's say a name node. So what we can do about that? So what I can do, see, I am sitting on name node. First of all, let me show you. There's no service running. So I can say hadoop-daemon.sh start and the service name. So I'm starting name node. So if you look at this particular command, it is coming from this path. Under the same path, I have multiple commands. You can have a look. For example, I have Hadoop daemon. I have start all. I have start DFS, start yarn, stop DFS, stop yarn, stop all, right? Multiple commands. So for example, on a data node, this command I executed on a name node, and you can see the name node services up. I can execute the same command on a data node. For example, I can say Hadoop-daemon and data node. The data node service will start. So this is easy to do when we have, let's say, few nodes to manage. I can do start stop, one node at a time, one service at a time. So similarly, if we look at the other services, for example, I can start, stop all the Hadoop services in one go, or an individual service control on each node I can do one by one. For example, stop, which will stop the DFS service across the service on that particular node. Or I can do start DFS, and it will start the services of HDFS across the cluster. So this is for HDFS. Similarly, for yarn, I can control individual daemon, individual service, or I can control the entire service of the cluster. So for example, I'm sitting on master. I can do yarn daemon.sh. I can say start. I can say the service name, resource manager, and that particular service will start. Or what I can do is I can start, stop all these yarn services in one go from the master node. So it will start resource manager on this node and node manager on all other nodes. I can control both HDFS and yarn in one particular daemon. So I can say stop all, start all. So what it will do, for example, if I do stop all, so this command is also coming from the same path. So what it will do, it will execute both stop-dfs and stop-yarn. So if I do start-all, it will execute start-hdfs and start-yarn. So I can control the entire services using this particular daemons. So similarly, I can have other services. For example, HBase. I can have a script to start just the master, or I can start all the HBase daemons. For example, HBase master, HBase region server. So I can have very specific services or scripts specific to a particular service. Now let's look at configuration management of Apache Hadoop distro. We can manage each service configuration and push it across nodes. This can be done either by using scripts or commands, or you can use configuration management tools like Puppet or Chef. So for example, the simple management tools could be, I could be simply, let's say I'm sitting on one particular node and I change to that directory, configuration directory, and I have configurations here. So what I can do is I can simply do a SCP. For example, look here, I'm changing any particular configuration and I'm just copying that particular file across the cluster using a simple SCP across all nodes. Or what I can do is I can have a utility like a parallel SSH shell. For example, I'm using Clush. So Clush, if you guys are not familiar with, let me show you. I can do something like this. So I can do a grouping in Clush. I can say whenever I say NN, it will connect to that particular node. Whenever I say DN, it will connect to all the nodes in that. Or I can say all, it will connect to all nodes. For example, if I say Clush -G, group name is all -B date. If I execute this command, it will execute on all nodes. Similarly, what I can do is I can copy some file. Let's say I want to copy a file on data nodes. The file name, let's say, is yarn-site.xml, and I want to copy that file. So what I can do is I can say the path, hit enter. So it will copy the file across all nodes. Or I can have a configuration management system like a Puppet or Chef, using which I can configure the agents on each node to poll the configuration periodically. So key points: we can control services using individual scripts, individual commands, or any kind of utility you might have, let's say PDSH or Clush, or a central management system. We can also control the services using init script. For example, I can say service name node StartStop. Let's say in Red Hat, you have your service management scripts, let's say systemctl. I can do that. So there is a packaging, for example, BigTop packaging. You can go on this link and explore. So it gives you ready-made RPM packages, and also it sets up your init scripts and systemctl scripts, depending upon whether you're installing on a RHEL 6 and prior versions or RHEL 7 and after that. So you can directly control the Hadoop services from these scripts. To summarize, we looked at controlling individual services, HDFS and Yarn, and then we looked at the configurations, how we can make configuration changes, and these are very specific to Apache Hadoop distribution, which does not give you any kind of web UI or a graphical front end to manage the cluster.